Full disclosure, I'm about to go under a rate lock, and let me tell you, I wish I had a month ago.
Well, speaking of things that you can't control, problems that might need to be reframed, Alayna, you're not really doing anything while in the middle of conference season. It's not like you're, oh, wait, you're buying a home.
I am.
How's it going?
It's going well-ish. We are pretty, I don't want to say, we're early in the mortgage process. But we've been looking for a home since the end of December. We formally got pre-approved and started our official house hunt. We looked at our first house like right before Christmas. And overall, it's been pretty stressful. In part because the northeastern market outside of Philadelphia is crazy. And especially where we're looking, it is one of the only places left, I think, in southeastern PA that you can buy a single family home for under $400,000. It won't be that way for very long, let me tell you, and I eked right in underneath that mark. But in kind of that reverse, right? It was the fourth house we put offers in on. We lost two very closely. And the first one, we actually got called back to say, hey, do you want this house? And it ended up being a blessing in disguise of just kind of like, actually, no, we don't want that house. One, we knew once the inspection came back and the other person walked away that the hole in the roof was probably more of a problem than we thought, which sounds crazy, but it was getting fixed.
Never thought you'd focus so much on roofs when you were looking at a house.
I didn't think so. Part of it is that the area we're living in, a lot of the houses were bought during 2020, and now these people that are putting all the new features in and now trying to sell them for $100,000 to $150,000 more, right? They're like, oh, it has a new roof, it has a new water heater, it has a new this, right? And like the home we're buying, all of the major systems are less than 6 years old, right? Which is great. And that adds a lot of protection. But also we came in significantly above asking price. And we actually have a large appraisal gap coverage. And so I think that's something that I was really grateful for, having the knowledge of the mortgage industry, right? Because I knew we're coming in at our down payment at a certain percentage. We're first time home buyers. I was like, well, if the appraisal comes in low, we can drop our down payment down in the underwriting process, right? And put that towards the appraisal gap. Our mortgage will still be roughly the same, right? Because it's just going towards the principal in a different way. But that's also something I don't know that I would have had the confidence to do as a first time home buyer without being in the industry and knowing what can happen.
It's how I felt about getting an adjustable rate mortgage on my first home.
Like I think it's something too. And at some point, my husband does want to be a part of my content because he has a lot of feelings about the mortgage, about the home buying process. And we haven't made it through the part where he has to sign. He's already complaining about the numbers of documents that he signed. And let me tell you, we have not signed that many documents yet. But every time you do an offer letter, you got to do a lot of documents. So I think he's going to be really interesting to deal with when I tell him he has to go to an office and wet sign, however many times.
You can have someone come to you.
That is true. We might do that. Maybe. We'll see. We have lots of options.
We ended up doing that the first time because my wife got COVID as we were about to. So instead of going to the closing, they had to do the split closing. So the notary came to us and we all signed with mass sod. So I was like, yeah, we did it.
I feel like it'd be fun to go to an office. So I'm going to see, like, this is the only time. I think that's the different thing too, is like, we are not planning on having children. So like that plays a huge factor in buying a home for us, right? We don't need space to grow. So we bought a 3-bedroom rancher that we plan to die in, right? Like that's a crazy statement, but like,
wow,
this is
dark.
But like, it's just, I would be honored to be able to live in my home until my death. That would sound great, right? Like, I think it's just a fact of life, guys. Everyone dies.
No, it's honestly, we're kidding, but like, what does mortgage translate to? Death pledge? So, like, I mean,
we were, when we bought our home, we were like, we will be here at least until the girls get out of high school, right? So like you are long-term planning.
It's future planning.
Future planning,
We have like we're a split level. So I was like, we could probably last here for.
And part of that too is like, we had to really consider my chronic illness, right? We don't have answers in that yet. And maybe it'll get better, right? But it appears that it could be something that is long-term. Chronic is technically defined as anything over 3 months in the medical community. And so I already am in chronic pain, right? And they don't have a description for it and no one has answers. So there's this piece of like, oh, well, should we account for this? And also my husband grew up in a ranch home and he was like, I would love to get a ranch.
Ooh.
Right. So we have one floor. We don't have a basement, but we do have a fenced in backyard.
You got 2 sheds.
And we got 2 sheds.
Yeah.
So, and a home that will probably dramatically increase in value because it's in southeastern Pennsylvania and a single family home.
Yep.
Where they're putting in $450,000 townhomes in about a year and a half.
I did learn that nationwide since 2020, homes have appreciated 56%.
Yeah.
On average. And then I think they talked about New Jersey, and that was 76% or something like that was high. I'm sure that Philly area would be high too, but it was New Jersey MBA, so they focused on Jersey.
Yeah.
Jersey,
That's bonkers. We watched that happen with our house. We just happened to be like kind of ready to buy a home in 2019, which you say that out loud now, and it's hilarious. But back then it was just a year. We were just like, this is a spring. Let's go looking for homes. We found a home that fit, checked all our boxes. Back then rates we got 3.25. And, the next year we watched our house like skyrocket. Every once in a while we would just open up Zillow and it was astounding just seeing, such a higher number.
But it's also like, it's good for your ego, but it has like literally zero effect on like
life,
your financial well-being, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Unless you've mortgaged the house for Sarah's business, which hopefully you haven't done. But
no.
No.
I did have somebody who was like, you should sell it. It was like, it's worth more now. I'm like, why?
Where would I buy a house then?
Yeah. But I also like it. Like,
you're just described the lock-in effect.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I think, a different fun little angle that I get to take that I don't think a lot of people at my age are taking of like, this is it.
Yeah.
But my husband's very much in the camp of like, I don't want to ever move again.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, it's terrible. So
yeah, I haven't moved in about 10 years, and I think that's the thing I'm least excited about.
As you should be.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Seems unfortunate.
As far as getting to a physical closing with wet signatures, you should tell John, who is a jazz composer, that it's an album signing. And then at the last minute, pen goes down and just whip away the vinyl, and it's like, and you're like,
that'll definitely work.
I think we might go at a realtor's office. Sure, big fan.
Yeah, big fan. We did sign our rent paperwork 10 years ago in person at an office, so with a realtor. So it's gonna be pretty similar, honestly.
Sure.
So we'll see. I think it's gonna be fun, and I'll have a lot of updates along the way. We did waive inspection as well.
Yeah.
So our house is currently. We have an ordered appraisal, and I get to sign my LE this weekend, which is really exciting.
The mouse and mold populations are very excited you waived inspection.
Oh, perfect.
Those communities really
Thank you for the mice.
Yeah, they go big.
Thank you for the mice. It's going to be great. I am prepared to fight back.
Well, I mean, I feel like we have to stay tuned now for what grinds John's gears. But until we have
that is going to be its own special episode for sure.
Yep. The John Gardner crash out. Yeah.
The John Gardner crash out about housing. He just keeps looking at me. He's like, "Is this for real?" And I'm like, "Yes, this is for real."
And I think one thing, like when I went through it, like I definitely handled a lot of the transaction.
Oh, 100%.
I was a lot more familiar with it, and my wife kept saying, "She's like, I'm just so glad that you know what you're doing with this." I'm like, that's what you think, because
I feel like
yeah.
That's how I kind of felt. He's like, just tell me what paperwork you need from me.
Yeah.
And then do the rest of it. He's like, tell me where to sign, when to sign.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, our realtor is also telling you this. He's like, yeah, but sometimes I'm in the document at the wrong time and then it breaks everything. So I need you to help me.
Oh.
Yeah,
he did accidentally delete everything once after I filled out our financial disclosure. So I understand the fear.
Yeah. I was in the middle of a liberal arts graduate degree when we bought our house, and also had not yet worked for Lodestar for half a decade, and thereby learned a lot about the mortgage industry. So when we bought a house, I was useless. I was very much in the John Gardner perspective. So no shame there. But
no shame in the game.
Thank you for choosing full disclosure. Please like and subscribe.
You.